goes for everybody in the receiver room. We kind of, it could be me having a big game one game, and then probably Dan having a big game next game. You go from having 6 catches one game to having 0 catches the next game. We're unselfish in the receiver room, and we have a great bond with each other. We just happy for each other. So
you talk about having a big game. Can you have a big game without having any catches, though?
Of course, we all try to make an impact on special teams and try to take that frustration out during the game, and we kind of use that in the blocking game also. We try to put good routes on film, and we can't control where the ball goes. So
Frustration is good.
yeah.
Third row right, Rob from the Dispatch.
Chris, you saw Ryan Day as the quarterback's coach and kind of part-time head coach last year, and now he's had this many games to kind of adjust. Is he the same guy that he was last year? Have you seen any changes in him in terms of him evolving, becoming more even confident from where he was last year?
I believe he's the same guy. He recruited me, so he hasn't really changed much, but he's more focused on the job. And when I walk past the office every day, he's watching film, and he hasn't changed his offensive coordinator or calling plays, so he hasn't really changed much. And that's what I like about him.
What was he like as a recruiter? You say he recruited you. What was the connection there?
He wasn't really trying to force me to come here. He wanted me to take all my visits and choose what's best for me, and he built that relationship with me and my parents, and that's what my parents love about him.
Front row right, Tim, Letterman row.
Yeah, on your first touchdown the other night, did you use the umpire in the middle of the field as your turning point? But number one, was that a read all the way for you, or was that the play all the way to cut it up straight up the field?
That was a play. We wanted to get quarters in that, and for that play, and we got that. And I had to go in there to sound to have a safety fall off of me, and the middle of the field was wide open. So.
Yeah, this is my next question, but I wanted to ask: are you aware of the umpire standing there in the middle of the field? Do you see him all the time? You understand what I'm saying? I mean, how do you try to avoid him, et cetera? How does that alter play sometimes?
I saw him, but I didn't know he was that close to me when I watched the TV copy. So I saw him, but I had to avoid him. I didn't want to look too fast for Justin, so I had to avoid him and try to go.
And well, let's say, would you describe this as, is this an attacking offense? How would you describe this as somebody who's never watched you guys play? What is your sense of what's special about you guys from an offensive standpoint?
You can say we're attacking. We very consistent with run and pass game. We got 2 great running backs in the backfield, and we got a tandem of receivers that could do everything. So we got one of the best quarterbacks in the nation, and one of the best offensive linemen in the nation. So we're very balanced, and we can't wait to keep going.
Front row middle, Joey from the Columbus Dispatch.
Chris, you guys have been very successful on third downs this season. There was a play against Northwestern where it was 3rd and 15, and Justin kind of scrambles and finds you. How much is his ability to create really important on those third downs in particular, where the play kind of is able to stay alive and you have to get 15 yards or so?
It's really good for us receivers. He likes to keep plays alive with his feet, and the scramble drill is in effect. So our second part of the route is very important, and we try to get open for him. So.
Right next door, Bill from the Dispatch.
Yeah, question about Justin. How quickly did you develop a close relationship with him?
He came in. He's not really a talker. He doesn't really talk much. So he came in and kept his head down, and he worked extremely hard, and he gained that respect. And he gained that respect from the team. We look at him as a leader of the offense and a leader of the team. So.
When was the first time he made one of those wow plays, whether it was spring practice, just throwing the ball around, or whatever it may have been, that made you go, this guy could be something special?
I think it was the first couple of days of spring practice. And, it felt like he wasn't missing a pass. So he's putting everything on target, and everything looked perfect to us. That's when we gained that respect, and we counted on him. So
Back row right, Spencer from the Letterman row.
Chris, on that punt that rolled back,
We put so much effort and so much technique and fundamentals into special teams. And when it comes to special teams, we all work as a unit. If one person doesn't do his job, we're not gonna get the job done. So when you snap that, we were all excited for that. And I think it would have been a block punt, but yeah, we all worked all weekend. We took so many reps for that, just for that play.
Do you think you would have got your hands on it? Had you got the ball?
Yeah, I think somebody got their hands on it.
Second row left, Steven from Cleveland.com.
Chris, back to the Michigan State game. It's one thing to just not have a catch in the game because it happens a lot, but to not even get a target. You know, when you go back and you look at that film, like, is there anything you're looking at to maybe like things you could have improved on, maybe gotten open a little more often, anything like that?
Definitely. I think that was one of my worst games, in my opinion. And we had them 2 weeks off, so having 0 catches and having 2 weeks off to try to rebound from that, it was real tough for me. And I feel like Michigan State's defense was pretty good. So they had certain coverages for our offense, and it was tough to get over that.
So how do you go from not even having a target to being able to do what you did on Friday night? Like, what did you change or what did you adjust to?
I didn't really change anything. I kind of changed my mindset that I'm happy for my teammates. As the year kept going on, we kind of got more unselfish, and we can't control where the ball goes. So we just try to make an impact wherever and help our team win.
Is it tough to make that type of adjustment when you've got that much talent in the room where you can't go from 5-6 catches in a game to maybe not even getting a look one game?
Yeah, it's real tough. But all season we kind of build that bond. We have blood, sweat, and tears together. We all try to build upon each other. And the receiver room is full of talent, and we try to put whatever on film. And we really can't control what's going on. So we try to be the best of ourselves and be happy for each other.
Third row left, Dan from 11 Warriors.
Chris, when you're going up against a defense like this that's ranked #1 in the country, do you guys view this as a benchmark to see how good this offense really can be?
We believe we're the best in the country also. So we believe we have the best offense and we're going to get some best defense. So let's see how that goes.
Is there more pressure going into a game like this to prove that because you know how good the competition is?
There's really no pressure on us. We prepare the same every week. So we gonna work hard in practice, and we probably gonna have some different schemes for the defense. We'll see what happens.
And what do you see in Wisconsin's secondary? What are the things they do that are going to present challenges to you guys as receivers?
They have some different coverages, different techniques they use in the secondary. And, last week they kind of went coverage 0 most of the game. Against the team up north, they kind of ran different coverages and dropped 8 and cover 1. So if they run man, we have the best. We win against the best DBs in the country. Our team, spring, summer, and fall camp. So I think we'll be prepared.
Front row right, Austin from Letterman Row.
Chris, you talked earlier about Justin's accuracy and that looked perfect in practice. Is it always that way with him? I mean, obviously his completion percentage is high, but it seems like in games that you guys rarely have to get outside of numbers to catch passes. Is it really that way all the time with him?
Yeah, Justin's I feel like every pass is perfect. When we get open, the ball is perfect right there on time, and even when we're not open, he puts the ball where we can catch it and the DB can't. So I got much love and respect for Justin, and can't wait to keep going.
I would think that makes your job a lot easier if you know that it's going to be where it should be. There's no uncertainty running your route where the football might show up, right?
Yeah.
How much easier does that make your job?
It makes it way much easier. Even when DB's close, and he gives us a chance, and he trusts us, and we trust him. So.
Front row middle, Dave from 24/7. Last couple questions.
Chris, I'm just curious how much your life has changed in the last 11 months. Maybe a year ago at this time, the average fan maybe didn't know much about you. Then the Michigan game happened, your breakout game, Big Ten championship game, and then everything you're doing this year. Just how has your life changed in the last 11 months?
There's definitely a lot more people know who I am. And, everyday life, going to class, just more people coming up to me, asking for a picture and stuff. But it doesn't really change my
when do you think the light kind of came on for you? And it could have been right away, because I remember Urban and Coach Day were talking about you early in the year before you had your breakout game. When do you feel like the light kind of came on for you?
I feel like it came on, let's say, Michigan State last year. Those two catches. Coach Meyer and Coach Day kind of kept hyping my name to the media and stuff. I just try to stay down and just do his best for the team and try to help us win.
And final questions, front row left, Doug from Cleveland.com.
You guys seem to have success with some out routes and comebacks, and Justin hitting you guys on the sidelines. What goes into receivers and Justin being able to hook up on those? Sometimes it looks easy, and I'm sure it's not as easy as it looks sometimes.
Yeah, we rep those a ton in practice, and just practice makes the game easier. So we probably rep that about 10 reps in practice to that one play in a game. So it makes it easy for us to rep those, and if they gonna give it to us, then we'll take it. So.
Can you feel? I mean, depending what their coverage is or the way certain teams play, are there times when you feel like, oh man, this is going to be a free 10 or 12 yards? I know we can connect on this.
Definitely. When they play free access, when they playing off, we take it as a route zone error. So we just take what they give us, and we have to do it.
And is that just, again, it's you got to run a precise route. Justin has to put it in the right spot, but if you do it correctly, it's almost always there.
Of course. We gotta run the route perfectly, not leak into our route. And, we know Justin's gonna put it right there, so it's almost there every time, and we just rep it.
Great, Chris, thank you very much.
Thanks, Chris. Good job.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man.